What's up guys, Chris here, and in this video I want to talk about my Halloween Leela and the path to getting her max limit break. And spoiler alert, I did end up spending some money, but now that we're nearing the end of the event, I'm pretty sure I didn't have to spend anything and could have pulled it off completely free to play. So we'll cover that as well later in the video. You can see here that I have 120 out of 200 shards. I actually picked up an extra shard in the Chocobo Expedition right before doing this video, but I haven't grabbed any of the 40 packs from the shop just quite yet. And for this video, I just want to pass along some takeaways from the last 2 weeks and what I think was probably the most worth it, and then a few tips and tricks about maxing out limited time units for free to play players. If you guys like the video, you know what to do by now. Click that thumbs up and subscribe buttons below. Okay, so first things first, how much did I spend and what exactly did I get for it? And I'm going to double down here on the daily purchase bonus track. I covered this in the other video where I pulled Leela. I really do believe that this daily purchase track is a really good deal. You see Halloween Raryu here, but last week this was Halloween Leela. And you get 50 shards for the unit, as well as 3 rainbow yarn balls here, and a couple of other things as extra bonuses for buying something every single day. So the value of this is equal to 2,500 Visuor. That's 50 unit shards at 50 Visuor piece. And I'm gonna throw this up on the screen here because I wanna keep track of how much we got, because we'll use this later to see if we could have maxed out Halloween Leela completely free to play. But this daily purchase track, I think this is an extremely good value. And personally, I would strongly consider this for any limited time unit. And the reason would be that limited units can be stressful to max out. So having the extra 50 shards for the unit can take a lot of stress off of spawning Whimsy shops constantly throughout the week. But I'm not entirely sure that I would purchase this for non-limited units, and it's not because I don't think it still isn't good value. I just think it's a whole lot less tempting when you're talking about non-limited units. So to summarize, limited units, strongly consider. Non-limited units, you know, if you really want to, go ahead and go for it. Okay, so what exactly did I buy? Well, if we go up here into the Visuor purchases, you can basically buy a bunch of different Visuor packs, and I'm not gonna go through all of these. There's a lot of things that you can do here, but I ended up picking up, you see a couple of them are missing here. I ended up picking up the $1 pack and the $5 pack and the $8 pack. And the only reason I grabbed the $5 and $8 packs was because I was bone dry in Visuor a couple of times with shards sitting in the shop during the event, and my PTSD from maxing out limited units in other events kicked in, so I made sure that I had Visuor in my account so I could get those shards. In hindsight, I definitely didn't need to do this, as later in the event I actually passed up tons of shards in the shop. I was way ahead of schedule, so I definitely didn't need to grab the extra Visuor from the $5 and $8 packs. Anyway, with these packs that I got, they were very similar to these 3 right here. I think they're exactly the same actually. So I got 60, 305, and 490, which is 855 more free Visuor. So I'll add that to the daily tally of Visuor from purchased items. Heading over to the shop here, I filled in the gaps with, if you go to the special shop and then you scroll down here, you can find these $1 packs and you get 60 paid Visuor, and the best one that you're going to want to pick up is going to be this one right here. You get 60 paid Visuor, 3 large energy pots. So once you've picked up those buy one get one packs from the Visuor shop, you can cruise over here and grab one of these each day to fill in those gaps for the daily purchase bonus for just $1 a day. Okay, so going over to the event shop here, I guess the featured unit shop, there's something that I want to cover, which is a mistake that I'm pretty sure 99% of people do in this game, including myself, which I didn't even realize could be a mistake until I was strapped against the wall with no Visuor in my account. And you'll see that I didn't pick up the 40 shard packs here. And originally this was simply because when I pulled the unit, I didn't even have the Visuor to consider it, but usually when I pull a new unit that I saved up for, I jump right in here and I grab these packs right away. But it wasn't until this event that I realized why this might actually be a mistake. And sure, it can be nice to have those extra 120 shards to boost the unit right off the bat and make them more viable right away, but you're also handicapping yourself later in the event because you might spawn plenty of shops and get plenty of free shards that are wasted on the back end. And for free to play and light spenders, wasted shards equals wasted Visuor. For example, during the Final Fantasy Tactics event, I bought all 3 of these packs for Agrias from the get-go, and yes, I maxed her well before the event ended, but I also kept pulling shards from the Chocobo Expedition and I think even one of the missions, and wasted probably close to 1,000 or more Visuor. So because of this, you should always treat these 40 packs as insurance against the shop. So if you get bad RNG and the shards just won't appear for you in the shop, or you're maybe busy a few days during the event and can't just sit by your phone and spawn Whimsy shops, you can fall back on these 40 packs. And it means that you know exactly the number of shards that you need to hit and finish off the max limit break at the end of the event, instead of max limit breaking early and having wasted shards at the end. And lastly, when I went in today to grab these shards and max limit break Leela, I noticed that this shop, it's around for another 7 days. And that is absolutely huge because it means that we have a whole nother week to collect Visuor and buy these shards even after these units are no longer appearing in the shop. And this is another reason why you should hold on to these packs that are in the featured unit shops, because you'll have even more of a buffer to max the unit out. This is going to be less significant for non-limited units, but for limited time units like Halloween Leela and, Final Fantasy IV, you should 100% leave these packs into the shop until you absolutely need them. Okay, now that we have all of this information, let's figure out if we could have done this free to play. So I need 80 more shards right now to max out Leela. That's 4,000 Visuor, and you can see the amount of free Visuor that I have right now. And side note, you'll see that it says I have 0 paid Visuor, and that's only because I'm on BlueStacks. Don't worry guys. Apparently the paid Visuor doesn't transfer between Apple and Android. It's not that I went in and spent it during this event. I'm just preempting the inevitable comments here. But while we're mentioning this, don't ever spend paid Visuor on something that you can buy with free Visuor. If there's one thing I learned in the last 2 weeks, is that it's really easy to slip up in the shop. So make sure you pay attention to these 2 numbers when you're buying stuff in the shops. Anyways, what this means is that we need 325 more Visuor to max limit break. But suppose that we never did the daily purchase bonuses or got bonus Visuor and had to make up those shards with Visuor. So basically tried to do this free to play. This means that we need to subtract our purchased value from our current Visuor, and this leaves us with 320 Visuor. So we would have needed to make up about 3,700 Visuor over the course of next week. Because remember, this shop lasts for another 7 days, which again, that's why it's so important to leave these 40 unit packs for last. Okay, so what's coming up next week, and are we going to be able to make up that Visuor, or would we have been able to make up that Visuor? Well, if we go to notices here, we have another login campaign coming this next week, right here, and this is going to be 500 per day for 5 days, so this is going to be another 2,500 Visuor. You get 100 Visuor per day just for doing your daily missions. That puts us at 3,200 Visuor. You get 50 per day for guild attendance, and we'll say like top 10,000 for arena, which is another 200 next Monday. And so there you have it, guys. It would have been entirely possible to max limit break either of these Halloween units completely free to play, even if you had nothing in the bank when you first pulled the unit like I did. And obviously there was a lot going on during this event that helped this, such as the login bonuses and the extra Vizor from Tower and so on, but even though I could have still done it free to play, I'm totally fine with how all of this went. Not every limited character and event will be the same, so I think all of the same principles will apply in the future for War of the Visions. Anyway, thanks for watching everyone. Don't forget to click that subscribe button on the way out. Otherwise I'll send Leela after you. Rawr.